This is Pastor Gerard Duncan, the pastor of Prayers by Faith Ministries in Gainesville, Florida. And I want to take this time to share a reflection of my most recent trip to Freeport, Bahamas as part of an initiative called Rebuild and Restore the Bahamas. As part of this initiative in the aid where Hurricane Dorian affected and devastated the lives of many families in the Bahamas. Over the last several weeks after Hurricane Dorian devastated the islands of Grand Bahamas Island, Freeport, several pastors from all over Alachua County were compelled to come together and collaborate their resources to support several pastors that were affected as well as their congregations. As we strategically came together locally, we wanted to respond in a way that would build relationship with pastors in the island as well as many families and leaders in the Bahamas. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Pastor Steve Greggs, the pastor of Creekside Community Church, Pastor Chipper Flanagan, the pastor of City Church, Reverend Thurman Tillman, the pastor of the historical First African Baptist Church in Savannah, Georgia, along with Reverend Marco and Myra George. Pastor Carl Anderson of Upper Room Ministries in Gainesville, Florida, and the Yakima president of Alachua County Pastors Association, and leaders and pastors that are part of that great organization as well. Pastor Bowden and Pastor Boswell, Pastor Alex Farmer of Servants of Christ Ministries, Richard Horn of Pascal's and the Christian Community Center, Pastor Tim Hayes, and Assistant Pastor Ross Jaguaris of Christ Community Church. The Black on Black Crime Task Force, Ms. Rosa Williams, and a special shout out to Ms. Mary and her daughters who helped to unload at the warehouse in Fort Lauderdale, and all the supporters by and far that prayed or gave to see the success of this trip. On October 3rd, we loaded a 26-foot U-Haul truck with approximately 11,500 pounds of food headed to the Valeria Shipping Warehouse in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Upon arriving with the help of Miss Mary and daughters, along with Valeria employee Mr. Sammy, we were able to stack all supplies on 6 pallets to be shipped on the Valeria ferry that will be arriving in Freeport at 1 p.m. on Friday, the next morning. I was greeted and assisted at customs by my good friend Bishop Clifton Cooper of Invaders of Christ Global Ministries in Freeport, Grand Bahamas. And to be honest, he was heaven sent. He made sure all of our supplies cleared customs with no problem and had ready available transportation to support and transport supplies and help to his church. All the supplies were then loaded from the vehicles with the help of some of my family members inside of the church to be sorted out and distributed among several churches throughout the east end of the Bahamas Islands, where a great amount of devastation had affected. Several of the faithful women of Invaders for Christ Ministries assisted in helping to organize and prep for the distribution amongst many churches. Bishop Clifton Cooper and I traveled through and around Freeport as he hosted me and showed me all of the devastation that had impacted many of the lives of the families in and throughout Freeport, Bahamas. We traveled to East End, where Bishop Cooper, hometown, is where he grew up in High Rock, Freetown, and Newtown. It was as difficult for me to see the amount of devastation in the area and the disaster caused by the hurricane. Dorian had left many people with just clothes on their back. Many areas were still without power, the destruction of homes left in ruins, but yet a resilient, prayerful, and hopeful people still abided. They had no choice but to trust in God. During our travel from town to town, just seeing the many churches that were devastated and destroyed, like Pastor Freddie Lang, Jr., or the pastor of St. Matthew's Baptist Church in High Rock, or Pastor Israel Pender of Emmanuel Baptist Disciple Center, and Father Rudolph Cooper of St. Michael's Anglican Church. My heart and prayers go out to them and the families that they serve. For my good friend Bishop Cooper lost his home, his mother home, and sister home, and they all lost many homes all around them as well. It was truly an honor to attend service with Bishop Cooper on Sunday morning, on the last day of my trip, for we worship with such great people of invaders of Christ. On my conclusion, I want to thank Bishop Cooper for his help, his hospitality and support during my short stay. And due to my limited time, I was unable to meet all of the pastors, but spoke to many. They send their appreciation to all of us. Bishop Cooper will continue to be our host and support as God has given him an influential and credible character of good report amongst many of the pastors in the community where he calls home. Our work must continue with God being our helper. We can and will make an impact in the lives of many of the Bahamian people. I ask for your continued support, pastors and dear friends in the community at large. My assessment as a follower will be to support these efforts with monetary gifts and building supplies to support. The churches and the people must be assisted in rebuilding, and continuous effort must be a priority. For water and food is plentiful, but monetary and building supplies are scarce. Let us be as supportive with future missional efforts as we were with this current initiative and this current mission that I just came back from. Again, I want to thank all of you that supported, and I continue to pray and ask and solicit your help. Thank you. God bless you. And more information you will find at the bottom of this screen. It will give more details on further and future information of how you can support Rebuild, Restore Bahamas. God bless.